Everyone thought the secret was buried forever. They whispered about it only in the dark, believing time had erased the truth. But on one ordinary evening, her daughter overheard a single sentence that froze her blood. From that moment, nothing in the family felt real anymore. Every smile became suspicious, every memory felt staged. What she discovered next would shatter loyalties and expose a lie kept for years. And when the truth finally came out, no one was ready for the consequences. The truth is stranger than fiction. Subscribe now for more stories that will leave you speechless. The house was quiet in a way that felt unnatural that evening. Rain tapped softly against the windows, masking the tension that lived inside the walls. The mother sat alone in the living room, staring at a phone she had not touched for hours. Her face carried the weight of years she refused to speak about. Upstairs, her daughter lay awake, pretending to sleep. She had learned long ago that silence often revealed more than words. That night, the silence felt heavy and dangerous. Something was waiting to be uncovered. The daughter had always sensed that her family story had missing pages. Certain questions were answered with forced smiles or sudden anger. Family photos skipped entire years without explanation. Relatives visited less often than they should have. Even laughter in the house sounded rehearsed. She told herself every family had secrets. Still, her heart whispered that this one was different. The truth felt closer than ever, and she was about to stumble into it. She heard voices downstairs when she least expected them. Her mother's tone was low and urgent, the kind she never used around her. Another voice answered, older and trembling with fear. The daughter slowly slipped out of bed, her bare feet silent on the floor. She stood at the top of the stairs, hidden by darkness. Every instinct told her to go back, but curiosity held her in place. What she heard next would change her life forever. You promised this would never come back, her mother whispered sharply. The other voice replied that the past never truly stays buried. The daughter felt her chest tighten as her name was suddenly mentioned. Her mother's voice cracked when she said it was too late to fix anything. A long pause followed, thick with regret. The daughter covered her mouth to stop herself from gasping. Her existence was clearly part of a secret she never knew existed. And she was never supposed to hear this conversation. She retreated quietly to her room, her heart racing wildly. The walls felt closer, as if they were listening too. She replayed the words in her head over and over again. Her name echoed like a warning bell. She wondered what part of her life had been built on lies. Sleep refused to come, no matter how hard she tried. That night marked the end of her innocence. Morning would bring questions no one wanted to answer. At breakfast, everything looked normal on the surface. Her mother smiled, pouring tea with steady hands. The daughter watched her closely, searching for cracks in the performance. Every movement felt deliberate, calculated. The air between them was thick with unspoken words. The daughter wanted to scream, but stayed silent. She decided she needed proof before confronting anyone. Truth, she knew, was dangerous without evidence. Later that day, she searched through old boxes hidden in the storeroom. Dust filled the air. She opened containers untouched for years. Inside were documents, letters, and photographs that didn't match the story she'd been told. One photo stopped her breath completely. It showed her mother standing beside a man she had never seen before. His hand rested protectively on her mother's shoulder. On the back of the photo was a date that changed everything. The date was years before her supposed father entered their lives. Her hands trembled as she flipped through more papers. Hospital records, legal documents, and a birth certificate caught her eye. The name listed under father was unfamiliar. Her heart pounded so loudly she feared someone would hear it. Every discovery felt like a betrayal. The life she knew was beginning to crumble. And she was standing at the center of the ruins. That evening, she confronted her mother carefully. Her voice shook as she asked about the man in the photograph. Her mother froze, color draining from her face. Silence filled the room, thick and suffocating. The mother tried to laugh it off, but the sound broke halfway through. Tears welled up in her eyes despite her efforts. The daughter realized she had touched a wound that never healed, and there was no turning back now. Her mother begged her to stop asking questions. She said some truths destroy lives instead of saving them. The daughter listened quietly, her heart aching. She asked one final question that shattered the room. Who is my real father? The mother broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably. Years of lies collapsed in that moment, and the truth began to surface, painfully and slowly. Her mother confessed that the man she called her father was not her biological one. She explained that love, fear, and desperation had guided her choices. The real father had disappeared before the daughter was born. Everyone agreed to keep it hidden forever. The lie was meant to protect her. But protection had turned into deception. The daughter felt anger, confusion, and grief all at once. Nothing would ever be the same again. The confession left the daughter numb. She struggled to process the idea that half of her identity was unknown. Questions flooded her mind without answers. She wondered if she had inherited traits from a stranger. She felt betrayed by everyone she trusted. Her mother's tears did little to ease the pain. Trust, once broken, could not be repaired easily, and this was only the beginning. The mother warned her never to search for the man. She said reopening the past would destroy them both. Her voice trembled with fear rather than authority. The daughter noticed that fear immediately. Fear always pointed to something dangerous. She agreed outwardly, but made no promises inside. Secrets had already stolen enough from her life. She needed answers, no matter the cost. Days passed with tension hanging in the air. Conversations became short and careful. The daughter started observing details she once ignored. Her mother jumped at unexpected knocks. Phone calls were taken in private. Old routines suddenly changed without explanation. The daughter realized her mother was hiding more than she admitted. The truth was deeper than a missing father, and she was determined to uncover it. She secretly began tracking the name she found in the documents. It led her to records that made her stomach twist. The man had a past surrounded by rumors and silence. Some said he disappeared after a scandal. Others claimed he ruined lives before vanishing. The daughter felt fear creeping into her curiosity. What if the truth was darker than she imagined? Still, she pressed on. Some doors, once opened, could not be closed. One evening, a stranger appeared near their house. He stood across the street, watching silently. The daughter noticed him first through the window. Her heart skipped when their eyes met briefly. He looked away quickly, pretending to check his phone. A strange feeling settled in her chest. She couldn't explain why, but he felt familiar. And familiarity scared her more than anything else. She told her mother about the man outside. Her mother's reaction confirmed her worst fears. Panic flashed across her face before she masked it. She demanded to know exactly what he looked like. Her hands shook as she gripped the table. The daughter realized this was no coincidence. The past had come knocking without warning, and it wasn't finished with them yet. That night, the daughter couldn't sleep again. She stared at the ceiling, replaying everything. The stranger's face lingered in her mind. She wondered if he was connected to her hidden past. Her heart whispered a truth she wasn't ready to face. Sometimes, secrets don't stay buried because they want to be found. And sometimes, they return to claim what was taken from them. Morning would bring answers she never asked for. The stranger returned the next day, this time closer. He stood at the corner shop pretending to browse. The daughter watched him carefully from a distance. Her instincts screamed that he was there for a reason. When he looked up again, their eyes locked. There was recognition in his expression, not surprise, but confirmation. Her heart raced violently in her chest. She knew then that her life was about to change again. Later that evening, a knock echoed through the house. The sound froze both mother and daughter in place. The mother's face drained of color instantly. She whispered that the daughter should go to her room. The daughter refused, standing her ground. Fear and courage battled inside her. The knock came again, louder this time. The past had finally stepped onto their doorstep, and there was no escape. When the door opened, the stranger stood there quietly. He looked older than in the photograph, but unmistakably the same man. His eyes lingered on the daughter with painful intensity. The mother trembled, barely able to speak his name. He asked calmly if they could talk. Years of silence pressed between them. The daughter realized she was standing face to face with her real father, and the truth had a face now. The man explained that he had been watching from afar for weeks. He said he didn't plan to interrupt their lives. Circumstances, however, had forced his hand. He spoke about regrets that haunted him daily. The mother listened with clenched fists and silent tears. The daughter felt anger boiling inside her. Where had he been all these years? Why now? He confessed that he had been kept away by lies and threats. He claimed he never abandoned them willingly. According to him, the mother had hidden the pregnancy. The accusation hit the room like lightning. The mother screamed that he was lying. Years of resentment erupted violently. The daughter stood between two conflicting truths, and neither felt complete. The argument revealed secrets deeper than anyone expected. The man admitted he was involved in dangerous dealings back then. He said staying away was meant to protect them. The mother countered that his life would have destroyed their child. Both believed they were right. The daughter felt trapped between their choices. Her entire existence was shaped by fear, and she had never been given a choice. Days turned into tense meetings and painful conversations. The man tried to bond with the daughter carefully. She resisted at first, her emotions tangled. He shared stories, photos, and memories she was never meant to see. Some answers brought relief, others more confusion. The mother watched from a distance, broken and exhausted. The daughter realized forgiveness was not simple. It demanded understanding she wasn't ready for. The truth about his past finally emerged fully. His disappearance was tied to a crime he didn't commit. Betrayal from close allies had forced him into hiding. Clearing his name took years of silence. He returned only when the danger passed. By then, it was too late. The mother had built a new life on a lie, and the daughter grew up without him. The daughter struggled with her identity more than ever. She saw pieces of herself in both parents, their strengths, their flaws, their fears. Anger slowly gave way to understanding. Pain softened into cautious curiosity. She began asking questions she once feared. The truth hurt, but ignorance hurt more, and she was tired of living half a story. One evening, she confronted her mother alone. She asked why she never trusted her with the truth. The mother admitted she was afraid of losing her. Fear had guided every decision she made. Love had twisted into control. The daughter finally understood her mother's silence. But understanding did not erase the pain. Healing would take time, and time could not be rushed. The daughter agreed to slowly build a relationship with her father, not out of obligation, but curiosity. Boundaries were set carefully. Trust was fragile and easily broken. He respected her space, knowing he had already lost yours. Small conversations replaced silence. Each word stitched pieces of her identity together. The journey was painful, but necessary, and it was only beginning. Whispers in the community began to spread. People noticed the unfamiliar man around them. Questions followed wherever they went. The mother feared judgment more than ever. The daughter learned that truth often invites scrutiny. Secrets might protect temporarily, but truth demands courage. She chose courage this time. Her story deserved honesty, and so did she. In time, the family found a fragile balance, not perfect, but real. The daughter no longer felt lost in her own skin. She accepted that her past was complicated. Love had failed them, but it had also survived. Some wounds would never fully heal, but scars proved survival, not weakness. and she was stronger than the secret meant to make her. One final conversation changed everything again. The father revealed he was ill and running out of time. The news hit the daughter harder than she expected. Fear of loss returned, sharper than before. She realized how quickly life could take what it gave. Forgiveness suddenly felt urgent, and time became their greatest enemy. The daughter chose to forgive, not forget. She embraced the truth fully at last. Her mother watched with tears of regret and relief. The past no longer controlled them completely. Pain still existed, but it no longer defined them. The daughter had found her voice, and with it, her freedom. The story did not end with perfect happiness. It ended with honesty. Lies had shaped her beginning, but truth shaped her future. She learned that some secrets survive by staying hidden. Others destroy lives when they do. This one had nearly done both. But in the end, it gave her clarity, and clarity was the greatest gift of all. The days after the revelation moved slowly, as if time itself was careful not to disturb the fragile peace. The daughter visited her father more often, learning his habits and quiet humor. Every conversation felt precious, weighed down by what had been lost. She listened more than she spoke, absorbing pieces of a life once denied to her. Regret sat heavily between them, but so did gratitude. She realized love could exist even when it arrived late. Each visit stitched another thread into her broken identity, and with every goodbye, she feared it might be the last. Her mother watched this bond grow with mixed emotions. Guilt followed her like a shadow she could not escape. She questioned every decision she had made years ago. Sleepless nights became her routine once again. Yet, seeing her daughter smile brought a strange relief. Perhaps the truth had not destroyed them after all. Pain was present, but so was healing. She learned that control was never the same as protection. And letting go was the hardest lesson of all. The father's health declined faster than anyone expected. Hospital rooms replaced quiet conversations at home. Machines hummed where laughter should have been. The daughter held his hand, afraid of the silence. She asked questions she once thought didn't matter. He answered honestly, without fear or excuses. Each confession felt like closure arriving too soon. Love, she realized, did not need years to be real. Sometimes it only needed truth. One evening, he asked to speak to her alone. His voice was weak but steady. He apologized for every absence and every unanswered question. He told her she was the best thing that ever came from his broken past. Tears streamed down her face as she listened. She forgave him fully in that moment. Not because the past was erased, but because holding anger hurt more. Forgiveness became her final gift to him. When he passed, the loss felt deep and unfamiliar. Grief mixed with relief, love, and regret. The daughter mourned a relationship that barely had time to exist. Yet she was grateful she had known him at all. At the funeral, whispers returned, but they no longer mattered. She stood tall beside her mother. Together, they faced the world without hiding. The secret had lost its power at last. Life slowly settled into a new rhythm. The daughter carried her father's memory quietly within her. She no longer felt incomplete or confused about who she was. Her past no longer felt like a missing puzzle piece. She understood that identity was shaped by truth, not silence. The pain had taught her strength she never knew she had, and strength changed the way she saw herself. She was no longer defined by what was hidden. Her relationship with her mother grew deeper through honesty. Conversations became open, sometimes painful, but real. They learned to forgive each other again and again. Trust rebuilt itself slowly, brick by brick. The house felt lighter, as if secrets had weighed it down for years. Laughter returned, no longer forced. Love found new meaning between them. And healing became a shared journey, not a lonely one. In the end, the daughter understood why she was never supposed to find out. The truth had been dangerous, painful, and life-changing. But it had also set her free. Silence would have kept her small and unsure. Truth, though cruel, gave her clarity. She chose to live honestly, no matter the cost. Some secrets are buried to protect others. But this one was meant to be uncovered, and finding it changed everything.